Welcome everyone to the 4th Annual Authors and Artists Festival Rewilding. My name is Liz Burton-Crow and I'm your host from Nature Culture. Our sponsors include the New England Grassroots Environment Fund, Mary King, Kathy Cremens, and our very own RescuePoetix. The festival is brought to you with help from my video production company, The Nature Imaginarium, Human Error Publishing, and Score.org. Thank you to our sponsors, our colleagues, all our presenters, and to you for being here. So before we begin, I'd like to make a land acknowledgement. To the ancestral lands of the Nisqually tribe, a Coast Salish people who have lived in harmony with the land we now know as Washington State for time immemorial. This land graciously holds and hosts me, and in turn allows me to host you here now. Acknowledgement to the virtual ecosystem I can only refer to as Zoom, a platform that connects us across geographical boundaries. As we convene in this digital space, let us carry with us the spirit of understanding, respect, and cooperation with the Indigenous communities whose stewardship and resilience have sustained our respective lands for generations. While we're here, let us acknowledge that we arrive from diverse locations, and the lands on which we reside have their own unique histories, stories, and Indigenous communities. And now it's my honor to introduce RescuePoetix.
Thank you so much for that beautiful opening, the land acknowledgement. It is an honor and pleasure to be here and part of Authors and Artists Festivals, Rewilding. This is something that is true and dear to my heart. I just finished attending the main keynote speaker today, and there were so many concepts, so much information. I can't wait to get back to that video and take a moment to just digest everything that's been going on. It's been an incredible festival so far, so it is an honor and pleasure to be here. So I'm going to share some slides as we get started today. And as we're going through these different steps, just to keep a few things to keep in mind, please remember to take care of yourself. Even though we have slides and we'll be sharing information, I want to be sure that each and every one of us maintains our own capacity to be aware of where we are physically, mentally, emotionally. I do want to talk a little bit about myself here, and I just say that, let's just wait for the slideshow, what's going on? There we are. See, technology works when it wants to, how it wants to, right? Never does what it's supposed to do when you need it to do it. So we are today together, joining together to do a workshop about reinvention and rediscovery of our own biodiversity. This topic means a lot to me because it feels like a lot of the things that we do, and I think this was kind of touched upon on the keynote speaker, by the keynote speaker this morning, is we've lost contact. We've lost contact and connection with ourselves and our environment around us, and it's important to maintain that. So this is today's somewhat schedule. Again, thank you to our beautiful sponsors, our amazing sponsors, and there are a lot more than just this happening today. So just go ahead and log in and get that information. Liz, you're welcome to put the link in the chat so people can register for the other events that are going on. So I've asked that everyone introduce yourself in the chat. How would you like to be addressed? You are welcome to change your name to rename yourself in Zoom so that you are addressed properly. Where are you joining in from? What are your pronouns? How did you hear about the festival today? So a little bit about me. If you want to know a little bit more about me, please feel free to scan the QR code. It'll take you to all of my links. I am based in Jersey City. I'm originally from Paterson, New Jersey, born and raised. And I moved to Jersey City in 2006 and became part of the art scene in a variety of different ways. I'm a twice honored Poet Laureate. I am a published author, an advocate, a teaching artist, a playwright, and do like 6,000 things just like everyone else, right? Nothing is ever as simple as it is. So this is how we're going to spend our time today. And just keep in mind that this is a loose understanding of what we're going to be doing today. Some things may change depending on time and how much of engagement that we have with everyone today. So introductions, we covered that. We're going to do that in the chat. Opening, Liz was kind enough to do our opening today. Thank you for that, Liz. She is our host. Make sure you show her some love. We're going to do an icebreaker exercise. Really quick, really simple, really fun. And it really talks about or touches on biodiversity. We're going to have 2 prompts today, 2 writing prompts. We're going to have 2 free writes. We're going to have time to write. We have also scheduled 2 bio breaks. If we feel we need them, we can take them. If we feel we only need 1, we can take 1. So I'm going to leave that up to the majority to determine whether we do the bio breaks and how many of them we do. We're going to have time for some reflections. We're going to reflect on a few things. We're going to talk about your experiences, our experiences. We're going to talk about a variety of different things. It's going to be like an open, safe room forum. And then we're going to do some open sharing. Share what you've created. Share what's inspired you. If you have a piece that you've been hiding and something pushes you to bring that piece out today, please feel free to do so. This is open for that reason. And then we're going to do Q&A. For the last half an hour or so, we're going to do Q&A, community sharing, and community sharing means if you have anything, any good news you'd like to share, events, things that are happening in your professional or personal life or artistic life, please feel free to share those. And then we're going to do some closing reflections, and all in all should be about 15, 20 minutes that we're going to cover all of that, maybe a little bit long. Oh, hold on, let's go back one. And there we are. So let's get started with our icebreaker. So this beautiful picture here that you see on the right-hand side of the screen is a picture of the monkey orchid. And you see the diversity of nature, what nature has done to make this happen. It looks just like a monkey's face. So these are our icebreaker questions. You're welcome to share your reflections in the chat. So what animal would make a beautiful flower in your opinion? Or what tree or what plant? In addition to that, or you can choose the other option. What other plant have you seen in the shape of an animal, or an animal in the shape of a plant? And where did you get to see that? Where did you experience that uniqueness of having nature cross-pollinate itself through animals, through plants, through earth, through birds, through people, through different things? So let's take a few minutes, and I'm going to set a timer. We're going to do this for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to move on to our first prompt. So I hope you found this exercise fun. I hope you found it creative. I hope you found it creating things in your head that you didn't normally or don't normally think about. And we're going to have a chance to share at the end here. So the next slide that we have here is we're going to do 15 minutes of a free write. The instructions are use the creative prompts in a way you choose. Sketch a scene, write a poem, draft a story, or compose an essay. You could do a list poem. You could use anything that inspires you. And we're going to go into the prompts next. The purpose of these prompts is to inspire you to take images that are brought to your mind and run with them. And remember to have fun. So here are the prompts. We're going to do 15 minutes, and these are the prompts. Variety in the skies around the world. Winged creatures introduce local ecosystems to new chances for growth. Have you seen that happen? We hear a lot about the different species that cross barriers, right? And do a variety and change things in our ecosystem. So if you have experience with that, feel free to write that. Or if you imagine something like that in the creative concept, write about that. So future generations, what do they find in a natural time capsule from your own generation? What would you like to pass forward? What would you like to leave to the future generations? And what is a natural time capsule? Is it a wooden box? Is it something that is just enveloped in nature? What would that be for you? And let's talk about growth. Growth is a variety of different things. We can evolve, we can change within our own ecosystems. We can create our own ecosystems within ourselves, within our community. What is that growth? What concepts have you released that have allowed you to grow? How does the need to relate to where you are now into where you're heading and your healing process? Think about that. We use nature to heal us in different ways. Where are you now? Where are you in the idea of your healing process? So how can you relate to the patience needed to grow and develop? We all know nature does things in its own good time. So how does that reflect on you? How do you relate to that? How does patience impact you in that way? So we're going to take 15 minutes, and I'd like to share some music. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment, and I'm just going to ask the group, are you okay with music while you're writing? Yes? Okay, great. So if anything should change and you decide that you don't like music, then just let me know and I'm happy to turn it off. So let's give me a moment, and then I will put up the slide again so that we can work on our exercise and do our free write. Take this moment to reflect on what you'd like to have, what you'd like to consider. So there we are. I'm going to set the timer, and in 15 minutes, I'll see you back. minutes, please begin wrapping up your talk. One minute, please wrap up your final thoughts. Hey everyone. So let's do a quick check-in. How is everyone feeling? Feeling good? Yeah, I hope you found that this prompt inspiring, and I hope that you were able to pull some things out that you've been holding on to. That's always a fun thing to do, and I find that when it's not put out in front of me, I don't think about it. So I try to bring together some ideas. I have a tendency to write lots of little notes and little things in my note app on my phone. So when I hear something or see something that triggers that memory or triggers that inspiration, I go back to my notes and I pull from those notes specifically. So now that we've done a check-in, let's share our presentation again. And let's see where we are. So this was the free write we just finished. And there we are. Okay, so this one, and I'm going to put the link to this in the chat in just a moment. So this next prompt is Ada Limon's poem, Instructions on Not Giving Up. Ada Limon is the 2022, or should I say, was appointed in 2022 the United States Poet Laureate. There's a brief bio available here for her. You can look at that. I'm happy to add that in the chat if you'd like to have that in the chat. And this particular piece was something that I found not only interesting, but it also spoke to me on a variety of different levels. More than the fuchsia funnels breaking out of the crab apple tree, more than the neighbor's almost obscene display of cherry limbs shoving their cotton candy colored blossoms to the sleet sky of spring rains. It's the greening of the trees that really gets to me. When all the shock of white and taffy, the world's baubles and trinkets leave the pavement strewn with the confetti of aftermath. The leaves come, patient, plodding, green skin growing over whatever winter did to us. A return to the strange idea of continuous living, despite the mess of us, the hurt, the empty. Fine, then, I'll take it. The tree seems to say in a new slick leaf, unfurling like a fist, as open palm, I'll take it all. So here, from this piece, this is a quote from Ada Limon about this particular piece. She did an interview, and when asked about this is what she said. Part of the work that I'm interested in during this life is learning what I can from the natural world. There are times where I can witness something happening in nature and feel all the human clutter wash off me, I can remember that I am an animal, that I am nature. And that speaks to biodiversity within ourselves. When we reinvent ourselves, when we grow into something new and something different, the idea that we are part of nature is part of that. We grow, we change, we flex, just like nature does. Nature is patient. Nature is a constant cycle of growth and evolution and change. And those are the concepts of growth and evolution within ourselves that brings on reinvention, that brings on rediscovery of who we are. So the next prompt here is for instructions on not giving up. What does this mean to you and for you? What does the concept of not giving up or being part of nature mean for you? How does that carry out throughout your life, throughout your day-to-day? How do you define not giving up? How does that mean walking away when things no longer serve you? Does that mean that you're not a confrontational person? So when I don't give up, I make sure that I maintain my boundaries and I'm not giving up my boundaries. And I'm going to persist and pursue beyond that. Is that what that means for you? What is resilience within that? Resilience within not giving up. What does that concept mean to you? How do you reflect that concept in your day-to-day and the things and the decisions that you make for yourself? And what is the gift that gives you confidence and helps you through moments of reinvention? Change is hard. You have to hurt in order to grow. And whether hurt means giving up something you've become very comfortable with in order to make the necessary change, that's what that is. You're reinventing yourself. So we're going to take 15 minutes here and we're going to write about these concepts. Okay, I'm going to start the clock now. Okay. How was that for everyone? Wanted to make sure that we do a check-in so that how's everyone feeling?
I'm fantastic.
Good, glad to hear it. Hope you're enjoying the topics and the different things that are included. So what I would like to do now is just take a moment here and let's do some reflections. Let's share some of the things that we feel, some of the things that we've experienced, whether it's about this specific workshop, and you'll have to pardon me, I'm trying to find my glasses. Whether it's about this specific workshop or about your experience as a whole here. And let's talk about a little bit here before we move on. Let's just talk about one of the areas that is new to you about today's topics. That's one of the areas you can talk about your reflections. Or something that you've seen a new way, something that you already had a concept of and seen it different. Your sharing is optional. If you want to talk about your experience within the festival itself, that is greatly appreciated. You're welcome to come off camera or unmute yourself to talk. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can see one another. Who'd like to go first?
I'll go first. So something that was new for me was combining the two ideas of not giving up and then what do I bring in terms of having some sort of resilience or tenacity. Whereas I think in the past I've thought about both sort of separately, or, you know, how to not give up in the moment when something is challenging, and then maybe separately, oh, what are my gifts, but not necessarily like combining both in the same sort of thought stew. And so that was really very like insightful in terms of making me feel like, okay, yeah, no, I can do stuff. So thank you for that.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you. Anyone else? Would anyone else like to share your reflections? I did see some reflections earlier in the chat. And Margaret, if with your permission, I'd like to share that out loud with everyone. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Margaret shared not giving up. I think it's my relentless optimism that fuels my determination on so many levels. That and my strong self-esteem, which has been there since I can remember. How to pass these feelings along to other patients, children, friends remains mysterious. I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that in the chat. Okay, so we are now at 12:30, and I think that does it for my slides. So let me take a look here. Let's share these and just see where we are. Let's talk about open sharing. We have some time, and you're welcome to share anything that you wrote. Since we're a small group, you don't need to put your name in the chat. You can unmute yourself to share. We can talk about some community things that you have coming up. We could do a community share as well during this time. And I always love doing that because I always learn about new things about people. If you have any links you'd like to share in the chat, please feel free to do so. We're happy to pass those along to share them with other people as well. So would anyone like to share something that you've written in today's workshop?
I'd like to share. Hi.
Yes, please.
So for the portion of the future generations, I wrote future generations find what they find in the time capsule is artwork, recipes, spells in the form of poetry and stories, digital archives of sound and film, dried herbs as memories of what once was, still potent when the essence is released, seeds for growing a cornucopia of the future, and maybe teeth and bone, possibly like fossils of once enormous animals that were from our generation, crystals and stones because those never go out of style, and instruments made of natural items. And for growth, growth is a time lapse of change, shedding skin to evolve from a challenging placement in time. Growth is also a natural order, aging by way of time. Change in facial or body features. Growth is also experience and knowledge. You don't learn how to run overnight, and this process takes time, trial and error. And then for what I thought of like my seed in terms of growth, so I said for my seed, I wrote it in the form of a poem. My seed is now a leggy plant with other arms and leaves protruding from moist soil. My seed has grown beyond its planter's pottery and yearns for more as it continues to stretch further. My seed roots, the seed's roots spindle themselves into coils, hugging each new root as if they say, welcome. And my seed, both new and old, apparatuses combine to give birth to what grows above and below.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Crystal. Yes, yes. Do you have any community news that you'd like to share? Anything new?
I think the only thing right now, because the festival, this is like my last thing of the year, big thing. So, well, I'd like to bring up that we have a strategic arts education workshop that's coming up on November 18th that you're going to be a part of as well. And that's going to be with the Confined Arts. And I'll put the link to where that is in the chat.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for sharing. And thank you for being here. You're an amazing part of this whole thing. Thank you. Would anyone else like to share?
Sure, I'll share. I also wrote a poem about the seeds. So I think we're on the same wavelength there. What is the identity of a seed half grown? And when does its plantness supersede its potential? I wonder too about the impacts from quality of soil. Though fecund, the dirt is a mixture of toxic and non-toxic elements. Does the seed possess the plant's power to detoxify? Like the nitrogen-fixing legume, can it make poison inert? Perhaps such alchemy is the work of the soul, and of the satiated plant content to one day return to soil.
Wow, that was incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks, it surprised me, so thanks for the invitation.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So do you have any community news to share? What's going on with you?
Well, like Crystal, this is my big crescendo of the year, and a lot of energy has gone into this event. And so I have the honor of, once we get done here, taking everyone's recordings and packaging them in a way that's nice and lovely and putting them on the Nature Culture YouTube channel. So I'm actually going to, this is the beginning of my relationship with the festival, where we're in sort of the genesis phase of creating all this wonderful content, including you being here today. And then I get to add a little bit of creative flair to it at the end when I get to still live with these moments and recordings over the next month or so. So that would be the main thing, is just making sure that people who couldn't be here today or maybe are on different tracks of the festival can enjoy these lovely writing prompts and do them on their own. So that's the main thing.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I love looking at the videos, even if I've attended an event, to go back and catch things that I didn't catch the first time, and it's just, and that you do this is an incredible service to our community. So thank you so much for that. Thank you very much for having me. It is an honor to be part of the festival, an honor to be part of this incredible experience, and just so much energy goes into this and has gone into this. I appreciate every effort. And Liz, you've been an amazing part of this. You've walked me through all the steps and have taken with such patience and such consideration anything that needs to be done. So I truly appreciate you. And I appreciate everyone who's joined us today. Thank you. And those who will be looking at the video, feel free to reach out to me. I'm RescuePoetix on social media, and I'm easy to find. It's not that hard. So thank you very much, Liz. I'm going to go grab some lunch and I'll be back at 1:30, okay?
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.